Is Josh Allen the number one target for the Detroit Lions? We're going to try to uncover a little bit about Josh Allen today and try to figure out, man, does he fit? Are the Lions able to go after somebody like this, based on the amount of cash that they're going to have? Does this fit the model that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are building? Would this allow for sustained success, or would it allow for immediate success? Those are all questions we're going to try to answer today. And, and I guess I'm going to revert back to what Brad Holmes said in the press conference, and let's just see where this goes. But the most important news that I think everyone needs to understand right now is there's going to be a lot coming at us over the next many weeks because March 13th is when the new league year starts, and that's when teams and players can enter into contracts. Now, the legal tampering period actually begins about a 52-hour window before 4 p.m. on March 13th. So between March 11th and March 13th is when teams will officially be able to talk to players and kind of decide if there's a fit there. And then, of course, after 4 p.m. on March 13th, that's when you're going to find out who's who and who's going where and who your new teammates are going to be. So let's talk about Josh Allen. He is, according to a lot of sites, the number 3 overall free agent in 2024. And it's a class that has a lot of opportunity for the Lions. I just don't know how big of a splash Brad Holmes is going to make. But one of the most important pending free agents in franchise history for the Jaguars, Josh Allen, is set for a huge payday. After a 17.5 sack season this season, it does seem unlikely that he would play anywhere else in 2024. The question is, do they have enough cash to retain him? Is there a new deal that's going to happen with the Jaguars, or are they going to enter into the franchise tag and give him about $22 million this season? When you look at the franchise tags right now, it's expected that, defensive ends, outside linebackers are between 20 and 23 million per season, which would be a 1-season deal. So I guess it could be a bargain. I mean, is Josh Allen worth more than that? When you look at Spotrac or Over the Cap and you look at some of their, wild, valuations, it would say that he's worth anywhere between 25 and 30 million a season. I don't know if I believe in that. I don't think it's very accurate. Let's just put it that way. We've looked at these every single season, and every single season they're way off. And I think we're going to take that into consideration today. The only players in front of Josh Allen, which I don't really understand how Kirk Cousins could be in front of Josh Allen, but because of the position that Kirk plays, he gets a little bit of a bump in the rankings, I guess, in this 2024 unrestricted free agent class. And then you have Chris Jones, who could potentially be another target for the Lions. Again, somebody I believe that the Chiefs are going to want to re-sign to a long-term deal. But let's talk about Allen. So he ranks above all the other pass rushers in this class, such as Brian Burns, Danielle Hunter, Bryce Huff, Chase Young. Yes, Chase Young is going to be back, in the mix again. And I guess, I'm kind of glad that the Lions didn't take him. Only after what I've witnessed, this postseason with Chase Young and some of the reports coming out, I guess it's fair to say that you just don't know what you're going to get. And I think that can be said about anybody. But Josh Allen, he's intriguing to me. He's somebody that I believe would be a culture fit for this team. I believe he fits the identity. Again, I don't have access to all of the things that, the Lions organization or any organization would have, as far as their medical, their background checks, all of that good stuff. We don't have that information. So the only information that I can base this off of is the tape and watching the highlights and, reading a plethora of articles and listening to Josh Allen speak. That's about where our knowledge is going to come from. And then you deduce, a really good opinion based on the stats and the tape. And then you see things like this, where Jaguars defensive lineman Dwan Smoot had said this back in December about Josh Allen. He says, it's a lot that goes in. He's a beast in the weight room. Me and him, we compete a lot in the weight room. We lean on each other as well, too. I'm just happy for him. I'm happy to see all of his work come to fruition, and everything that he's been putting forward has been worth it. He also said that I'm just happy for him, and I'm trying to be able to get him there. Get him to that record. I know that Calais Campbell is going to be mad because it's breaking his record. I'm just trying to do everything I can as a teammate to be able to get him there. And I think that's exceptional that, they're working together to help elevate each other's career. It's unselfishness, right? So that Smoot is unselfish. What about Allen? I know they compete with each other, but is Allen unselfish? And I think that that's going to be a major intangible heading into this free agency period for any Lions target, I think the number one question that they're going to be asked is, can you play unselfishly? Because if you can play unselfishly and you have, great intangibles beyond that and a gift and athletic ability, I think that Brad Holmes will try to find a way to put you on the roster. But I think that they want these players to be unselfish and work together and get to the end goal together, not separately. Stacks of stats don't matter when you don't hoist the Lombardi trophy, when you're not winning the division, when you're not winning playoff games. None of that stuff matters because that will help you independently. It does not help the team collectively. So a little bit deeper on Josh Allen here. He backed up a really strong 2022 performance with an extraordinary season in 2023. He racked up career highs in quarterback pressures with 90, second to Aiden Hutchinson, and sacks, 17 and a half, tied for second with Hendrickson. He coupled that with a 20.5% pass rush win rate that was among the league's best. Now, not throwing anything at Hutchinson right here, but I'm just going to say it. Josh Allen, 17 and a half sacks to 90 pressures. Aiden Hutchinson, what did he have? 11 and a half sacks to over 100 pressures. So what I see here is I see a player that is able to get home more often. And he's having a higher production value on the field by the way that he's able to affect the game. I wouldn't say that Jacksonville has an amazing defensive front. I mean, I think that they're pretty good, but I don't think that they're amazing. So why would Josh Allen be able to have a better season, affect the game more often than somebody else? Well, I think that that comes to the player within and the person within Josh Allen and the way that he goes about his business. As Smoot said, he's a beast in the weight room. He's constantly competing. And I think that's the exact type of attitude that you want, on this Detroit Lions team. The next question is, does he fit? Well, we'll get to that in a moment, but let's take a look at a comparison to Melvin Ingram in 2017, because that's where I guess I would look at the contract perspective and how it fits this season with, the salary cap and the implications that it can have on the Detroit Lions' ability to sign big name free agents. So Josh Allen versus Melvin Ingram. In Melvin Ingram's, best season, biggest contract, I believe, was around that 2017 period. Pass rush grades, 89.4 for Josh Allen, Melvin Ingram, 89.2. True pass rush grades, Josh Allen, 91.4, Melvin Ingram, 90.5. Pass rush win rate, Josh Allen, 17.5, Melvin Ingram, 13.6. Run defense grade, Josh Allen, 82.4, Melvin Ingram, 68.4. So big differences. Now, the looming question is, how much is Josh Allen going to make? Well, if we were to take the cap percentage that Melvin Ingram was awarded, which was 9.6%, and then you weigh that against what is supposed to be a cap somewhere around $245 million this year, that would give you a number around $23.5 million per season, roughly. So is that a number that the Lions can afford? Is it a number that they can make work for them? Right now, the franchise tag is less than that or almost equal to that. So I don't know that the Lions are even going to get a shot. But here's what I will say. When I look at the potential to bring players in like this, and I've said it time and time again, I would rather have two players that collectively can give you the same production on the field versus one player. By having two players, you've developed your depth at a very high rate of production, and you've developed your starting cast that has good production. And together, you're not losing anything when one is in or out of the game. For comparison purposes, and two other guys that we'll take a look at, Leonard Floyd, AJ Epinesa. If you were to sign both of them versus one Josh Allen, and you could get them both done for about $25 million a season, which I think is high collectively, I would much rather have the ability, the leadership, the youth of Epinesa, the leadership of Floyd, than having one Josh Allen, because that way we know that, we've got guys that can come in and out. If someone were to get hurt, you've got somebody else that can step up and play more snaps. So that's how I kind of look at things. I'm not saying that I'm against the Josh Allen. I'm just against the cap implications that it carries when we have a lot of other players that we're trying to re-sign and keep. And that brings me to Brad Holmes. So during his press conference, he basically stated that the level of talent that he's going to seek out doesn't necessarily affect how he brings players in. I don't know if that really makes sense, but what he's saying is they're not going to go after the big name guys just because they're a big name guy and they can afford to do it. It has to make sense. He clearly said that everything that he does is intentional. And I appreciate that. They're not just out there, swinging a bat at every pitch. They're making sure that they are intentionally swinging at a good pitch. And what does that mean? Well, in my opinion, that means that they know that they've got a good sound quality guy, maybe not be the biggest name, may not have the best stats, but he's going to check all of those intangible boxes. A hard worker, a good teammate, a good leader on and off the field, somebody that doesn't get in trouble, doesn't create waves, is not just there for the money. He wants to generally, for the team to win and win together. So I think that there's a lot more that goes into this than just the stats, the name. That carries some implications on some teams where they're just trying to fill seats. I don't think the Lions are trying to fill seats anymore. They're trying to win ball games. And bringing a player in like Josh Allen will help you. Guaranteed, it will help you. But maybe you look at bringing in 2 players versus 1. So a couple other things on Josh Allen here is franchise tag. If he were to get tagged, he'll be making roughly about the same amount as he would, I believe, annually. I think that his contract would probably max out about $25 million. But because of that, I actually put in an entire roster together. And I re-signed Jared Goff to $49 million. I re-signed Penei Sewell. I re-signed Amon-Ra St. Brown. I tagged a bunch of the guys that I felt should come back, restructured, renegotiated Tracy Walker's deal, or flat out cut him. Either way, he's set to make a ton of money this year. So by cutting him, you could potentially save $5 million. By restructuring, you might be able to save a little more. So there's a lot of things to look at and how this is going to fit. At the end of the day, I had about 65 guys signed before the free agency period, before the draft. I mean, and you still have your rookie class to sign. So I was 18 million short, which means I didn't have any money for my rookie class, but I had everybody else signed. But that also would have only left me with about 73 guys signed for training camp, whereas you need 90. Now, there's a lot of contracts you can fill for $1 million or less with hardly any guaranteed money. And, signing 18 guys, I don't think it would have been a problem. Finding basically $20 million, I don't think it would have been a problem. The point that I'm trying to make is, yes, we could sign Josh Allen and extend Jared Goff and extend Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell and a bevy of other players that we have on this team that are, pending free agency this season. And it can work. But then you're about strapped. You won't be able to go out and find, that lockdown corner unless you find him through the draft. So those are the implications that I speak to, is how are you going to get it done? Maybe it doesn't happen this season. Maybe it happens next season, where the Lions are going to be in a very similar situation to this season with cap and draft picks. So that's all I really wanted to talk about with Josh Allen, kind of paint the picture of what can happen, what could happen. I'm not really in the boat of signing Josh Allen. I just wanted to have a conversation. And one modeling method that I look at when I say that this player is going to be good or not is the PFF WAR rating, and how that WAR grade, trends out over time. His WAR grade is pretty good. He's number 10 overall edge rusher in the league with his WAR grade. And I love it. That means that he's positively affecting the game. And we'll take a look at the other guys. AJ Epinesa is big on my list. I might do him next. Leonard Floyd, I'll do him as well, but I don't think that he's coming to Detroit because he's looking for money. And anybody that's looking for money, I don't believe is going to end up on this roster, because Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes want ball players. They want guys that love football. Everybody loves money, but that's not what this is about to the Detroit Lions. This is about bringing in players that want to play for this city. They want to play for this fan base. They want to go and win a Lombardi trophy together. So Josh Allen, let me know in the comments, pass or fail grade. Do you feel like it's somebody that, you give him a pass, you bring him in, or do you fail him and let him go to the next team, or, will he stay with the Jaguars? So yes or no on Josh Allen. I'm going to vote no. I don't think he's coming to Detroit, but then again, he does make a lot of sense. So we'll see what happens. All right, y'all, go on pride, go Detroit Lions. We'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.